and realized he had been reborn. In his previous life, he was known as the immortal Taishian and became a supreme god in just 500 years. However, he failed in a robbery and was killed in a big array of hate and death. He now found himself back in his previous life when he was 20 years old, with the goal of awakening the divine pulse in his body. He plans to take revenge on the 9 heavenly masters who killed him in his previous life. Li Taishian vowed to return to the fairy world and seek revenge on the 9 heavenly masters by using their blood to quench his anger. However, his thoughts were interrupted by a phone call from his ex-girlfriend, Wu Qingxuang. They were college classmates and had been in a 2-year relationship, during which Li Xiaofan gave everything for her. Wu Qingxuang had quit her job and came to Chuzhou to propose marriage to him. Although it was a good thing, it marked the beginning of his tragic fate. Li Xiaofan left with 100,000 betrothal gifts but was ruthlessly rejected by Wu Qingxuang, who had fallen in love with an official second-generation son. This led to Li Xiaofan being brutally attacked, having his legs broken, his kneecap shattered, and sulfuric acid thrown on his face. He was also falsely accused of rape and sentenced to 10 years in prison. His father sold all his property to clear his son's name but died before Li Xiaofan was released. Li Xiaofan was despised and abandoned by society and lived a miserable life until he was driven to the point of suicide. However, instead of dying, he was blessed with misfortune and found himself in the immortal cultivation world, where he accidentally obtained the 9-day Taishian nerve and became the last descendant of the Taishian pulse. Li Taishian became a powerful immortal after a tragic past where he was betrayed by his girlfriend and suffered immense physical and emotional pain. He eventually became the strongest immortal in the world but could not bring back his father or his old life. He has a deep regret that turned into a mental block that affected his ability to pass the heavenly robbery. He vows to protect his father for the rest of his life now that he has been reborn. Li Xiaofan was emotional as he thought of his old father's fragile condition and aging appearance. He vowed to seek revenge on those who harmed him in his past life and make them pay for their actions. As he arrived at the Chuzhou station, he contemplated his plans for revenge and his newfound power. He listened to the taxi driver's chatter about the city's history, but he was unimpressed. To him, a small city was as insignificant as gravel in his eyes. Suddenly, at that moment, a loud screeching noise interrupted the peace. An off-road vehicle that seemed to have lost control came hurtling towards them, like a wild horse on the loose. The taxi driver cursed and desperately tried to steer away, but it was too late. The two vehicles collided, causing significant damage. The taxi's door was bent out of shape, the reflector and window glass shattered, and pieces of broken glass scattered all over the ground. The driver turned to check on his passengers, asking if they were okay. Li Xiaofan disappeared from the backseat of the taxi. A dark shadow rushed towards the runaway SUV and deftly avoided collisions with oncoming cars. The SUV collided with several vehicles on the road, causing a traffic jam. The SUV eventually crashed into a guardrail and headed towards a cliff. Li Xiaofan grabbed the rear bumper of the SUV and restrained its movement, causing the car to stop just before the cliff. Despite the fact that the SUV was a powerful 4WD Hummer, Li Xiaofan managed to stop it by using his martial arts skills. He was captured on video by several passersby, who were amazed by his incredible strength. Powerful 4WD Hummer. Li Xiaofan managed to stop it by using his martial arts skills. He was captured on video by several passersby, who were amazed by his incredible strength. Li Xiaofan was concerned that his strength was not enough and wanted to improve his martial arts skills to better protect his loved ones. Li Xiaofan is not a good person, and in the fairy world, he would waste the cultivation of anyone who offended him or destroyed their family. However, he believes in the Buddhist teachings that saving a life is more important than anything else. As Li Xiaofan was helping to stop the off-road vehicle from falling off a cliff, an old man and a young girl stumbled down from the vehicle. The old man was in his 70s, with silver hair and a calm demeanor, while the girl was in her late teens with a cold face, thin waist, and long legs. The girl was worried about the old man's well-being, and the old man expressed his gratitude towards Li Xiaofan, introducing himself as Chu Tianjing. Despite being old and frail, Chu Tianjing was still proud and confident in his abilities, and he promised to offer a place to Li Xiaofan in the future if he ever needed it in the boundary of Chuzhou. Li Xiaofan, who was leaving, was stopped by the girl with the horse tail. She proudly said that her family doesn't like to owe anyone and offered to repay his kindness. She even asked how much he wanted. Li Xiaofan smiled and didn't take offense. However, the old man scolded the girl and introduced her as his granddaughter, Chu Xiaolian, who had been spoiled since childhood. Chu Tianjing was impressed by Li Xiaofan's extraordinary strength, evident in his ability to effortlessly drag the speeding Hummer with just one hand. Chu Tianjing recognized that Li Xiaofan must be a skilled warrior with limitless potential due to his young age and deep cultivation. However, Chu Xiaolian, who was standing nearby, sneered and accused Li Xiaofan of having ulterior motives and seeking greater benefits from her grandfather. Despite this, Chu Tianjing insisted on keeping Li Xiaofan. Suddenly, a strong wind came from behind Li Xiaofan, prompting Chu Xiaolian to warn him to be careful. A man in black suddenly appeared and attacked Li Xiaofan with a powerful punch to the back of his head. This man had previously punctured the tire of the Hummer with a hidden weapon, intending to kill Chu Tianjing. However, he didn't expect to encounter Li Xiaofan, who was standing in front of Chu Tianjing, making it difficult for him to dodge the attack without endangering Chu Tianjing. Just as the man's fist was about to hit Li Xiaofan's head, it was stopped by an invisible force and the man was thrown back, hitting a tree and losing consciousness. The girl is amazed by Li Xiaofan's strength and wonders who he is after he effortlessly killed the assassin. Li Xiaofan informs the old man that the assassin was there to harm him, but dared not to offend Li Xiaofan. He scolds the assassin for acting recklessly. The old man then realizes that Li Xiaofan is a legendary practitioner and apologizes for being rude. He thanks Li Xiaofan for saving his life and asks how he can repay him. Li Xiaofan notices a pendant on the old man's neck and recognizes the energy inside it as familiar, possibly coming from the immortal world. He believes that he can use the pendant to enhance his strength. Li Xiaofan then asks the old man if he can have the pendant as repayment for saving his life. The old man hesitates but eventually agrees and hands over the pendant to Li Xiaofan. As Li Xiaofan takes the pendant, he clarifies that ordinary people cannot use it, but it is very useful for him. He then tells the old man that they are even now and takes his leave, asking the old man to continue with his daily affairs. After Li Xiaofan leaves, the girl questions the old man's decision to give the jade pendant to him, calling Li Xiaofan a weirdo kid who is just a warrior. She wonders what is so great about him. The old man responds to the girl's question by explaining that there is a man named Long Tianzhang who is codenamed Voldemort in the southeast military area. Long Tianzhang is the #1 master in the region and has been ordered to guard the northwest frontier for many years. He has killed various terrorist organizations attempting to enter Chinese territory many times and his name is widely known. The old man goes on to explain that Long Tianzhang previously broke into a riot zone in West Africa alone and took out the enemy priority target amidst the rain of gunfire, killing more than 2,000 enemy troops. He achieved an undefeated myth in the army and earned the codename Voldemort, which symbolizes fear. The girl does not understand why her grandfather is telling her the story about Long Tianzhang and asks him what it has to do with the young man they just met. The old man responds by saying that the young man they just met is at least as good as Long Tianzhang or has a similar level of skill. The next scene takes place in a 5-star hotel called the White Goose Hotel in Chuzhou. Li Xiaofan enters the hotel and remembers being humiliated there in his past life. He expresses his anticipation to settle his grievances against Yang Xiaoqun and says that he will savor the experience. Suddenly, someone calls Li Xiaofan's name from behind. Li Xiaofan turned around and saw his girlfriend Chu Qingxiang, who was angry that he came late to an important party. She called him useless and wondered how he could let his own girlfriend wait for a whole day. Li Xiaofan replied to her insult by addressing her as a harlot and telling her that he had a little accident on the road and that it was none of her business what he did on his own time. Chu Qingxiang was shocked by Li Xiaofan's strange behavior and thought that he seemed like a different person. In the past, he used to cling to her like a mad love puppy, but now she had enough of him and suspected that he hit his head or something. A short-haired friend of Chu Qingxiang mocks Li Xiaofan. Your boyfriend talks funny. Does he come from the countryside? He looks too shabby to be hanging around here. He's so weird. Why does he speak like those kung fu characters from the novels? Ugh, I can now see why you're embarrassed to bring him out in the open. If I were you, I would have chosen Yang Xiao. Chu Qingxiang then tells her friend to shut up. Ugh, I can now see why you're embarrassed to bring him out in the open. If I were you, I would have chosen Yan Xiao. Qiu Qingshang then tells her friend to shut up.